Thanks, Count Corla. Well, first of all, just in concluding remarks, I want to thank the people who made the effort to come and sit in the public gallery here this evening and listen to a debate. And many of the people in the public gallery have worked extensively on this issue since it was first rolled out in 2015. Many working in the services that actually work. The adult guidance services, the LESs, the length and breadth of the state. And they are the people that I listen to and the people that walk in and out of my constituency office on a daily basis in relation to JobPath. And sometimes I think Fine Gael live in a parallel universe, and I think that has been hit home and proven correct here tonight. Because when I listen to Minister Doherty, who has cut her losses and run, hopefully she'll do the same now with this JobPath programme. When I listen to Minister Doherty stand here and make some sort of accusation that every single person that spoke in here this evening, bar the two ministers, have given example after example of the catastrophe that is JobPath in terms of the impact it has had on people, the length and breadth of the state. I don't sit at home and dream up these examples, and I'm sure every other deputy that spoke here this evening is the exact same. These are real-life people that experience negatively at the hands of Torres Nua and CTEC. And to listen to the Minister here, she actually sounded like Comical Ali, trying to defend the indefensible. And I listen to people like those sitting in the public gallery here. I also listen to people who work in the likes of the LES, people that are dealing with the fallout of JobPath. Because after 12 months, the 206,000 people that have been referred over to those, the many people that don't get a job, they end up being referred back over to the LESs. When in the first place, that's where they should have been to start off with. I also listen to the people in the intro offices who are actively speaking out now against this service, saying that it was a massive error. I also listened, quite interestingly, to the Labour Party, who said tonight that this was an experiment that has failed. Now, bearing in mind, it was actually a Labour minister, Joan Burton, who implemented this, was a co-author of this with Fine Gael and presided over it in its early days. And to listen now to the Labour Party saying the experiment has failed. The privatised ideology that this government and their predecessors have presided over has failed. And you need to be big enough to admit that, cut your losses and pull out now at this point. But unfortunately, what we get here this evening is spin and more spin, a continuation of the spin machine that Fine Gael are experts at. When we see figures that they're trying to spin, the €160 million that has been spent on this failed experiment for the 206,000 participants equates to less than €790 per individual. But that is absolute nonsense. I'll put my spin on it, because we know the figures that have been given to the Controller and Auditor General. Of the 206,000 people who have been referred over, only 17,100 have actually been sustained in employment for 52 weeks or more. So I can spin those figures, because that equates to, for every job that has been sustained for 52 weeks or more, that works out at €9,356 for every job that has been sustained for 52 weeks or more. But that's all it is, spin. I deal with facts, I deal with reality. And we know the impact that this has had on the likes of the community employment services. As we stand here this evening, there's over 1,990 vacancies in CE schemes, the length and breadth of the state. And bearing in mind, these are schemes that work, keeping our communities together, ensuring that work that really should be carried out by local authorities is actually being done. Schemes that actually work. 1,990 vacancies in those schemes. And the supervisors of them schemes, they say those vacancies are there. as a direct result of JobPath. And they are the people that I listen to. But this government is hell-bent on this notion that work first is the solution, not the individual's needs or indeed their circumstances, and that this fallacy that getting back into work is the solution to everything. And we know that isn't the case, because the type of work that you are presiding over and forcing people into, we see people engaged in low-pay, precarious employment. Over 100,000 people are now working poor. Over 100,000 people. And we know the type of employment that you're forcing people to take is predominantly low-pay, precarious employment. So the reality is, it has failed. It has failed dismally. It's a failed experiment, and you need to cut your losses. As one deputy said, your experiment is dead. You need to take it out and bury it immediately. And I'm going to conclude, because in focusing on the Indecon report that was carried out into the LES, and there's a lot of concern around that Indecon report, and particularly one recommendation, that says at the end of it that there needs to be an open, public, competitive procurement model brought forward. And nobody has any problem with open procurement, but I firmly believe, and the LESs believe, that that is laying the foundations to allow Torres Nua and CTEC come in through the back door. So what we need here is a commitment that when this is done away with, because the House has spoken, the government are going to lose this vote. So you need to withdraw the amendment and you need to support the motion. So when this is gone, we need to look at what's coming next. And what's coming next needs to be shaped by the debate here tonight. And that is doing away with the penalisation of people and the payment by results that has failed. And we need to get back to what works. The CE schemes, the job clubs, the adult guidance services, and all the other schemes that actually work and benefit people.
That concludes the debate.
Minister, you are going to lose this vote. You need to cut your losses, you need to bury this scheme, and you need to get back to what actually works for people and their individual needs.
That concludes the debate.